Welcome to the stream, everybody. It is day 26, the Bink or Us Bankroll Challenge. Just getting things set up here. Get the music going. Turn this down a notch or two. And our current bankroll is 4,300. We took a bit of a hit yesterday. First losing day in a while. I guess we just fold, just lead out on this board. Seems strange though. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, we had a massive damn day. Lost 5. We're gonna raise this for value. King Jack suited, we're squeezing. So basically we lost, I think, 5 or 6 buy-ins at NL 100. We actually won 6 buy-ins at NL 50, but when you add that together, it's a $500 drop after rake. So yeah, it wasn't a great day, but overall could have been worse. Could have definitely been better. Those river card, but it. Well, he checks back. He doesn't have a spade. Just crazy. The things people do are bonkers. Like, why would you ever check back a 10 on that flop? Anyways, good for us, I guess. Lost the minimum probably there. Here we see bet. But yeah, it was a pretty cooler filled day. I think within the first hour we lost aces. We ran aces into a set in a 3-bet pot 3 times. We ran kings into aces. We just called down here with the ace, and we lost with queens. We lost with jacks. So anyways, we just lost with all the premiums basically. Just a standard session, like just a run bad session. So you just got to shake it off basically, and hopefully we can get back to it today on a Saturday. Weekends are always either they're always great for recovering, or just continuing to run bad against fish and getting absolutely annihilated. I guess I should pull the stream up here. That'll make sure everything's running. Here, Wicked Poker Challenge, day 26, perfect. Okay, so we are up and running there. Okay, King 10 will raise. What do we do down here? Raise the calls. Yeah, we're just going to. We're going to c-bet, and then we're going to double faro, basically here. Hoping to get some other tables filling in here soon. It is 6 o'clock, so I do expect tables to pick up a little bit shortly. Good play. That's an easy fold. Let's see, there's a massive show. This guy goes 3/4, 3-handed. They're going to call 1. But yeah, if he just keeps blasting, we'll just let it go. There's just not much point chasing like fish when they're blasting big, which was a big part of yesterday's losses. We just weren't willing to let go of our overpairs in 3-bet pots, which against good players you got to call, but we were like, even against good players, it's hard to say. They have to be like, when you like bet and they call, and then you bet and they shove turn, or you bet flop and they like raise you, you really have to be like, they have to be raising junk basically in order for it to be a call. That's, I guess, what we're getting at. If people just don't bluff enough, so kind of reality is when you get raised, you're just losing. So that did cost us yesterday. We were pretty much unwilling to fold in a lot of spots. Which I don't like. I'm not sure if we would call it a massive mistake, because there's definitely times you're ahead. But yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things here where no matter kind of what we did, we were just sort of losing. I'll back here in a minute. We'll just reduce. King 7 check. Okay, he checks back. And we're just going to 2x. And raise the 10-8. Fold the jack turn. Pretty much, I think going 2x pot's pretty good. On turn, like when flop goes check check with 2x pot turn. Pretty polarized spots like bluffs, and it's basically what it looks like. And then your middling hand, you can kind of check call or get smaller. It's good. Okay. Now let me just, I want to make sure we don't leave this running. There we go. Okay. Looks like it's kicking in, and we're going to the stream. We got it. Muted. Alright, hold 10-6. Hold the 3 dudes. We're lagging out a little bit here, so hopefully that just fixes itself. Feels like. Okay, we're gonna ISO the ace 8. 5 deuce. Back calls. We're just going small. And double barreling pretty much always. Pick up some equity. Double barrel. Calls again. And tough one here. We block. I think I'm just gonna go for it. He doesn't have overpairs because we limp called, and we block like 6-8s and 7-8s and 8-9. So he just limp calls king 9, flops it, and then we triple off into him. Cool. Big down deuces. We get no action with our jacks. We're just gonna shove here. Of course, 3-betting the ace queen. 3-bet squeezing the ace queen. This whole table is basically based around who's going to stack this guy first. Fold. Not sure. Let's try a little refresh here. It's just a little laggy. Hopefully it's not laggy on the stream. But anyways. 10-9, check. Okay, these guys both limp. We're gonna ISO ace 5 suit. Big dude's like literally just playing every hand. Okay. Yeah, including that one. Okay, on this board, I'm not really sure what sizing. I really gotta double check my out of position sizing. Quickly calls. So I think I'm gonna go for a block bet. Right. We're just basically giving up here. Even though he plays every hand, we block the flush draws that he could have. So his most likely hand holding's like a 10 or a king here. Probably a king when he does bet after we check to him. I just don't expect him to bluff enough. And we check back to his king. And we're gonna raise the ace 6. This is just a value raise. This guy is calling like 7 deuce, right? So I don't think we've really flopped a pair against him yet, unfortunately. The ace king, I think we'll just go for the check down here. Here we'll go half pot. Calls. Oh, terrible turn. Check back. And we just call the river bet. It's about as much value as you get though. Like if we barrel turn, maybe he calls, but then he'll, if we, you know what I mean, we check back river then. I think checking back turn lets him put more money in. Standard value bet from him, though, obviously. Not too much to talk about there. The fish left the table, so we're just going to leave that table. It is 6:15. I'm hoping the tables will start to pick up a little bit more here soon. No bad beat. 25% went off. Okay. So, yes. 10-4 check. Yeah, lost a big pot. Lost a big pot, lost a full house, lost a big pot, pair of sevens. Here we'll just check. If he checks again, I'll just give him a little click back. He might call like a king sometimes to one big blind. So I think anytime we have a clear value bet, we just gotta start making them. I think we're undervalue betting rivers. Yeah, no 100 tables are just dying, unfortunately. Fold king 7. The issue is basically the GG's rate so high that without a decent fish at the table, it's hard to beat the rate. Now, if you think you can even break even, which again, even on a reg table, like we're gonna win at 10, probably about 10 BBs, 100. Even if the table was filled with regs, overall, I think. He checks, we're just gonna cut out. Oh, we gotta walk faces. Is that crazy? Okay, he leaves. So, like, if the table was 6-handed, full of regs, I don't mind playing, but 3-handed with regs is. It's not really my tea. Okay, at least our fish back. Okay, ace-5 suited, we're going to bump that up. Okay, ace-5. But anyways, yeah, let's get yesterday's graph up, just so you guys can see. It's actually been kind of a 2-day run. We just happened to win so much in the morning on the 10th that we were still profitable that day. Check the deuce, check the sense. Yeah, it was just basically... off the hop, we went down 230. Then we ran it up to 100. Or sorry, yeah, basically 100. And then we basically from there went back to 2, back to even, down 160, back up 50, and then it just kind of went downhill from there to negative 300, unfortunately. And that's overall. This is like negative 500 or 600 for NL. 100. But yeah, it just wasn't a great day overall. So we had aces 21 times, lost a buy-in. We had queens 14 times, lost 30. We had kings 14 times, barely won anything. And usually in these spots, right, you won't be losing big pots. Ace king we actually went, we've been pretty good with yesterday, but jacks we had 17 times, 1-0. 10s 23 times, basically 1-0. So, yeah, I think the reality is like if you're, you know what I mean, like 10s plus, ace king, ace kings, ace queens, like when you're kind of losing with all those hands, you just the sessions are not good. Very rarely are you gonna have a winning session if you're not winning with your aces and kings. Like that's really what it comes down to most of the time, because that's pretty much where all your money comes from. Like if you back the chart up, like let's go back to Mark first. We'll just pull this up, and then we'll just look at the stats of the hands. 8-7 we raise, queen 9-0 from the cutoff, call this time. Okay, we're gonna check second pair, and just let her know she doesn't shove. So probably doesn't have a 10, or she would have shoved flop, so we'll just shove for her. See if she'll call 6x, 5x, like just very ace high, that kind of stuff. He goes small here. call. Seventies fold. I think we're pretty much calling no matter what, unless they overbet. Prince will check some back. Okay, and I think we just block that here. So maybe we go for the check call. Okay. 6-2. I think we can have it on this table. We're just gonna go small here against all the fish. What? Vic, we want to mark as a fish. He's on city at 70 bigs. Fuzzy toaster calls. We're just gonna, we're gonna barrel here because their ranges are too wide. So they'll end up folding a bunch. If they have a diamond, they call. Right? So if they don't have a diamond, they're just pretty much folding everything. Against the min raise, I'm just gonna call the jack five suited this time. Min raise is weird. I'll let it go this time. Definitely will be floating that and then barreling turn a ton. So actually, I bet you in a vacuum, if you just floated every small blind versus big blind spot, and then every time they check, you just bet turn. We're gonna get a walk with ace king. There it is, 10 call. Hey, we'll ISO big. Okay, take that down. Okay, we'll fold to the 3-bet. Fold to 10-5. We're just not getting any hands against this guy that's stacking. Let's go with the min opens from the button over here. And we're 3-betting the ace queen. Now fold 6-5, e7, fold, jack 8 raise. Yeah, so we'll click on this. Then we'll go full cards. We're gonna see it small here and just do a bunch of double barreling. Okay, pick up equity, double barrel. So like, there's no 3-bet pre-flop, so he doesn't have like over pairs. He does check raises. Guess we fold. Fold to 6-7. Fold the 8 deuce. If a 4x open, we just fold. Surprised this table hasn't filled up. Ooh, that's interesting. It's only got 75. So this table is just like not the best. We're on a bit of a downswing, so I don't really want to risk the stack for bankroll. It's one thing on an upswing, but when you're swinging down, I'm not a huge fan. I don't think you're playing properly, so I'm not a big advocate. We just check king queen. Okay, we hit our 4, so we're beating all the ace-x now. We're beating 2-x, and we can probably get a bunch of like 5s, 6s, 7s before the river. He checks back flop. He will do that with an ace though. Okay, and then we'll just at half off the value on the river. 10-8, yeah, we'll just leave that table, fortunately. Now, I don't expect this guy to bluff in a million years. Jack high. Sevens will be raising. What's going on here? Let's defend. Okay. So, what do we want to say about this guy? Seems pretty aggro, pretty spewy. Okay, we check off flop. So never checks back an ace here. Like his best hand is 10x. Guess we just check call. Guess maybe he would check back like a really bad ace. I think we're gonna call this time. It is close though when he goes that big, but I think he probably mostly bets aces on the turn, and I think if he has a 10, he either checks back or he doesn't go this big. So ace-3 I guess makes enough sense to check back. It's hard to get like a triple barrel in there. Yeah, I think probably when he bets river that big, might be better to just fold. Okay, check 10 bids. Let's just see if this is pulling up. Yeah. Now let's click through. Okay, he checks. We're just gonna go bet once he checks flop. And now we're value betting. If he does raise, I think we probably have to call. Just because we never have a flush after we check flop. Okay. Alright, we got a shot here to stack big do. Alright, we're just going to ice it a 4. A little bit smaller. Because we want to make sure he stays in the hand. And now we're just going to bet big and hope he's hit something. Okay, flop checks around, and then turn checks around, so we are going to value bet the 3 on one street, and then we just check down. 6-4 off, perfect, nice hand, good call. Okay, we'll check back second pair here. Bets, we're going to call. And we're going to call river. Good Lord. We're going to see bet here. Okay, fold. Tables are kind of dying out, which is a little bit sharp. We're going to get on this table here. It's 2 fish now. This is what it is. Let him play heads up against this guy long enough. Which is crazy. Like, look at his stats. 42, you're playing heads up against a mega fish whale, and your stat is 42. And you're playing a long time. That's crazy. Anyways, 9-3 suited, Jack 3 is checking. So, as you can see over the long haul, pretty much all of your profit comes from queens, kings, aces, like ace, king, jacks, tens, right? You should be profitable with all of your pocket pairs. Probably the sevens will probably just like calling too much in the small blind or something. Ace 10 suited, just a little bit of run bad. But as you can see, basically it's all your premiums where you're turning a profit for the most part. We are squeezing the tens, fold the ace deuce. So like basically everything you do in poker is to essentially get paid off with aces, kings, queens. So if you're not 3-betting enough, that means you're not going to get paid off enough with aces. If you're not 4-betting enough, you're not going to get paid off with aces, right? Like that's essentially what everything comes to. If you're not bluffing enough, post flop, then you're not going to get paid off with aces. All right, so we bet he calls. I'm going to keep betting small for value. I think he has enough worse hands still. King highs, like that kind of stuff. He does click it back here. Probably never has queens, kings when he does that, or jacks. I think we probably have to call one. Oh. Ooh. We still lose to an ace. It's interesting, though. I think that sucks. That's probably just like a fold here for sure. I think I'm just gonna station because that's kind of what I've been doing lately. But I think I think the reality is when he like raises turn, we're just losing. Yeah, of course. I don't know why I would call him. We're gonna have to take a break here for a day or something. We're just making a lot of bad calls. It's like stationing down terribly. That basically that changed nothing for the most part. Although we do beat fives now, we do beat like jacks, queens, kings, aces. Like I don't know. I was just gonna leave. But anyways, so as you can see, yeah, like all of your money comes from your premium. Like 99% comes from like queens plus, jacks plus. Everything else just kind of fills in. Yeah, we're losing way too much. Like suited hands, calling probably too much with these. 9-8, 9-7s. They should both be comfortable, realistically, so. All this is junk garbage, which makes sense to be losing with. We're going to check raise the gut shot here. But yeah, like all your pocket pairs should be comfortable. He calls the check raise. I'm going to blast again here. It's not the best turn card to barrel on though. We're going to call here. King 9 raise. Bump up to 10-7. Okay, value betting here. Ace queen will be raising. Queen 9 off will raise. Yeah, so this guy's just station. And we're going to figure out the ace queen off. Of course, we're jacks, fold to 9-3. And we block queen king, we block ace king. So I think we're gonna go small bet, 3/4 pot, and then we're just gonna rip the river. So in theory, he's not gonna have that great of a hand very often. And here, I'm just gonna meant to see that there. Turn. Here we're going to bet in full barrel. Just gonna bluff this 2x pot once he checks twice. Obviously, if Fuzzy Toaster shoves, like, the issue is like when they're this tight, they might call ace king. Okay, we're gonna value bet the jacks again. But I think with ace queen on a king high board that's pretty dry like this, we're just gonna go bet shove. And that's why. Although it's crazy he has queen. The queen's actually a call there. So is ace king. Like ace king off is actually a call some portion of the time versus small blind 3-bet. Muhammad Ali check raises us. Well, we're definitely, it's small. We're gonna call one, and then probably end up folding to barrels. Oh, he's so short stacked. Tens are brutal. Queens, kings, aces, given stack size, get it in. Probably can't fold. Getting like 4 to 1 on the off chance you just had like lost Jack 9 though too. He doesn't have queens, kings, aces when he doesn't 3-bet pre-flop. The 10's a brutal river card. I think I'm just gonna call though. Turned it again. Cool. And we get lucky on the river here. Just rip it. At this point, I think we just shove. Called 3-bet, called the flop bet, called the turn barrel. Nice. Lucky. Jacks twice. So this has kind of been our downfall. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I just had to dip for a second. So yeah, basically stuff like this has kind of been our downfall yesterday. So we're gonna try to get back into it, because I don't think we've been playing the greatest, and there's been a lot of this where like we're way ahead on the flop, way ahead pre-flop with 3-bets and build this big pot, and then you know, they just luck out 2-outers, 3-outers, 4-outers on the turn or river. Then we're paying them off, which is like a massive mistake, because like when you 3-bet, you bet turn and then you blast river, blast flop, barrel, turn, whatever. You're showing so much aggression that like nobody in this pool, and most pools, like maybe like NL4K or some shit like that, but they're just not bluffing you. Like nobody's gonna bluff you on the turn when you 3-bet pre-flop, you barrel the flop, you go 3/4 pot on the turn, and then they shove. Like you'll get the few good regs who will do it with combo draws and stuff, like, but that's it, right? It's like a massive combo draw with like 18 outs or the max. So it just like it ends up being a huge mistake making those calls, and I think we've been making a lot of this here, where it's just like if the 10 didn't roll off, we'd have to call. Because of his stack size, he could easily have like ace 10, king 10, and just think it's good. And he's obviously a fish given stack sizes, so don't overvalue it. Just go 8 here, blind versus blind. But when the 10 rolls off, like you don't actually beat anything now, especially against the small blind call. he doesn't have queens, kings, aces, but like he has sixes, sevens. None of those are check raising turn. He has deuces, he has threes, he has 10x, he has pocket eights, he has 10-8 suited. So I think in position, we'll just happily bet here. You know what I mean? So like none of those hands are raising turn. So you just like you don't beat anything, you know. And I get like we're getting really good odds on the river, but I think you just like the only reason this might be a call and be not horrendous is just like the odds we're getting. But we're just losing. Like we're always beat there. So theoretically, it doesn't really matter what the odds are because you're just losing. And that's something we've been definitely fell into yesterday. Of this, like, you know, it was aces versus set, kings versus aces. So we kind of fell into that mindset of like, oh, it can't happen again here. So we call. And then you just lose again, right? But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna check the jack nine here. We squeezed free. He called. We just do a little bit of pot control there, and then we're gonna make a small bet on the turn. He raises. Again, this is one of those spots. Here with the eights, we get squeezed. I think I'll call this time. So when we check back flop and then they check back and then they raise this turn, again, I don't ever think we're being bluffed here. So we just got to get back into the just fold. For the random times that somebody's bluffing there, it's just not worth it. So I'm going to bet small here and then sort of play it by ear. Ace-2 suited is a 3-bet against this guy. Obviously, there's going to be some player-dependent things to watch out for. Jack-9 off, we just fold, I think. It's close. Then open, maybe defend it. So he goes into the tank and then calls. And we do have a note that this guy likes to slow play. Limp raises. Quarter 50, that's your reduces. That's the slow play and check all strong hands and stuff. So I think at this point we just go for a showdown. And here I think we're gonna go big on this board with bottom pair and a flush. Yeah, right. Well the money's just going in now. So it's like it's either bet big here or check, I think most of the times. He does get pocket jacks in. Yeah, so I expect this guy at ace king or tens or something. This is actually a pretty good flop for us. Like an ace, a deuce, or a club, like we have a lot of equity. All things considered. And we break. Okay. But that's fine. I think on that turn, it's just kind of is out. But again, how many times have we been stacked on this table? 3 times. Put in like spots like this, it's kind of just like an overplay now from him, right? So that's better put like that's another overplay is over because in theory here, like him, like when he raises that, I wonder what GTO does. Like it's obviously going to raise it some portion of the time. I just feel like in 3-bet pots, you know, when you call the jacks and then you're like check raising the flop, it just makes no sense. You know, because in reality, it's like most of what you're going to get paid off by is queens, king, aces, and you just lose, or sixes, or threes, or deuces, right? And then, or you're just up against like a combo draw that you're flipping against. Like, is your best case scenario when you like re-raise and then get the money in there. But we did go pretty big. I don't know. Those are spots to check, but I think generally speaking, like the re-raising with the aces or the jacks there is kind of like counterintuitive. Can you just call? Or what happened? I guess it was an ISO. Or no, it was a raise, a 3-bet call. But anyways. Okay, check the 3 deuce. We raise the ace 2 suited. The 7-5 suited, we will bump up. And we're ISOing the ace-king suited. And we'll check the... Yeah, still no 100 tables open. Better than this one. Okay, we're going to bet and double barrel here. Fold the jack-7 off. We'll fold 5 deuce as well. Jack-4 suited, raise. So anyways, let's pull up today, just so we can track where we're at. Sec here. Okay, 3-bet king jack suited. Our sizing is based on their sizing. That's really about it. Yeah, EV's even. Whatever. We're down a buy-in. It is what it is. That's fine. Okay, we'll fold the 6-7 off. Actually, we'll just fold the 6-7 off. Okay, aces. Again, his sizing dictates our sizing. We'll get a heads-up battle here. King 8 off. We will fold. Don't battle turtle if cold calls there. And B-raise, jack-4 suited. The 8-10, we get called. When we do c-bet this board, we go big. So we are going to go big here. With the backdoors, the overcard, all that good stuff. And here on this board, I think I'm going to go big as well. I think people overcall, obviously. And when he cold calls, I think he has... I don't think he's going to have very many threes. So we're not exactly worried about that. The issue with the ace here is that it kills our action unless he has deuces, 4s, or 5s. So we're going to check to him. Alright. He checks back. And now we have to decide. And I think when he checks back, he obviously doesn't have pocket deuces, pocket 4s, pocket 5s. He doesn't have very many ace-x. So his most likely hand is like 10s or jacks. So I think we're just going to target that with a small block bet. I hope he can call. Okay. Right, if we shove there, he folds. If we bet the ace, he folds most of the time. Okay, fold the 10 deuce. I think we're just going to ISO here. Take it down. 8-5 suited. We're going to bump up. I think here we're going to squeeze the king queen. Fold the jack 10. Fold the 8-5 suited. So, all right. We're going to try to buckle back in here today. Stop stationing off so much. It is hard though. Like when you have aces in a 3-bet pot and you're getting like called on flop and then shoved on turn, the pot's just so big that it is hard to fold, but like that's going to be a big portion of your win rate. We do squeeze here. Unfortunately, we just have to check fold. This is not a flop we're going to attack. They have a bunch of like 7-8s, 6-7s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s, pocket 10s, even jacks, pocket queens some portion of the time. We just have nothing, so it's just going to be kind of a check fold here. The queen jack off, we do bump up. The ace 10, we also raise. But anyways, despite yesterday's setback, we are well ahead of schedule for keeping our 100K bankroll challenge on target. Basically at 30-31 days, we need to be at 4K playing NL 100. We're at 4,300 and we are only on day 26. So our goal is still going to be to, we are c-betting here, is obviously still going to be to hit, to get ahead of schedule. I'm hoping to hit 5K by day like 31. So we're going to try to put in some good volume this weekend. And just get back to making, good decisions and stuff. And kind of see how everything plays out. So he checks. We're going to bet bigger here on the turn. Obviously, we don't expect him to have an ace, pocket fives, pocket eights, so we don't want to go too big. We just kind of want to go a sizing where we think he'll call like a 5 and 8, pocket 2 nines, something like that. And nobody seems very interested, so I actually have an 8. I'm just going to check. I didn't realize I had a pair here, or would have. Maybe I could have value bet there, actually. Probably not. That's probably pretty greedy. You think we could value bet there on the river. Here. So the website that you can find in the description, we are going to work on that maybe this weekend too and try to get that at least some sort of graph. I don't think we'll do a daily one because that's just going to be way too much hassle. But I think, but whatever, we'll figure something out. Like even just a weekly one where it's just like the charts updated weekly so people can kind of get an idea of where we're at quickly. But obviously, like, we update each stream, so it is pretty easy to check. You just log in and flip over to the channel and see where it's at. Yeah, so. Okay, hopefully we get some tables picking up here. 7 o'clock things do generally pick up a little bit. Okay, the 9-8 suited we raise. I actually forgot how. Oh, that's who that is. I forgot. Somebody was on the leaderboard yesterday. I couldn't figure out who it was, but now I remember. But anyways, yeah, it's I forgot how tilting it really can be when you're trying to run up stakes, because like the swings happen all the time. Like you're up and down 5, 6, 7 buy-ins here and there, and normally it doesn't matter. You just put in the volume, and you know your profit's your profit at the end of the month, kind of thing. But when you're trying to run it up, does it ever drive you nuts when you downswing and trying to get out of the stakes? It was getting frustrating for sure. You're just like there, like, you know what I mean? We got to chase down 6, 7 buy-ins now to get back to 4,800, 4,900, whatever we were at there. So you just kind of feel like you're chasing yourself all the time, you know? Alright, let me just look at this here. Close, close, pause. For the big blind, shell swords raises, he call. I think I'm going to check raise this. We have all the pocket sixes, all the pocket fives, all the pocket deuces, and we block anybody from having like 3-4 suited. So I think it's probably pretty scary for them to be in this spot, and we just look super strong here. And then we just have to make a decision if we're going to go with it or not. Like, this makes no sense. We're folding, obviously, but like, what are you like? No hand here makes sense to do that with. Like, if he's bluffing me, sure, like, good bluff, congratulations. But like, like, it just makes absolutely no sense with almost any hand, other than like to make sure I don't hit a set on the turn. But it just makes no sense to do that in that spot. I guess you could argue if a 4 falls off, maybe like some action's killed, but like not really, because nobody ever has a 3 here. The only person who has like I guess a 3 could be me. I don't know. To me, that just makes absolutely no sense there, because all I'm doing is, all you're gonna do with like aces or kings, if that's what you had, would be you know what I mean? Like, you're just gonna fold out everything you beat, is what I'm getting at. And then you're just like setting yourself up to get stacked by 6s, 5s, deuces, 3-4 suited, because I'm in the big blind. The issue is, we don't think this guy's good enough to actually be bluffing us here, because otherwise this would like scream huge bluff. You know, and like nobody's good enough to get into like the meta, or whatever you want to call that game of it, where it's like, okay, I am gonna 3-bet aces here, because he is gonna think I'm full of shit, and then I'm gonna get his stack when he has like fucking ace-5, right? That's not gonna be the thought process that's gonna go through a lot of these guys. So you kind of got to keep it more basic than that. But anyways, we don't need to focus on stupid shit that they do. We'll just try to stick to our game and not get tilted off. But with that said, this guy is extremely rando and also extremely nitty. Like, it really just seems to depend on his how things are going that day or something. The ace 9 we raise. We get called by. We block 8-9. We block ace 8. We block ace 5. We have a backdoor club draw. So I think at the position we can probably just see bet small. It's interesting when he snap calls. I think we check, and if he bets, we can fold. And if he, oh, that's really small. Guess we call. We have ace and 9. We have 2 overcards. We have a backdoor, and we have a gut shot. We could just have the best hand here. That's interesting. Every inch of me wants to just shove this. Because we have the ace of clubs and because of how small he went on the turn, I think we just rip it. Obviously we could get hero called some portion of the time. But I think his like best case hand is either like an 8. Because people don't really know to like check back an 8 there if they're like really fishy. We do have to bet this ace once the flop checks around over the pre-flip 3-better, and he goes again. And we check, and we lose because we don't keep bluffing. Should just be a barrel on the turn as well, I think, or the river. It's just a bad like bet check there. Like when that ace rolls off, it's like bet, shove, or just don't bet at all. Because he'll call 1, right? Like that's sort of the point, is that he'll call 1. Like he'll call, you know, 4, 5, 6, 6x, 5x, 7x, 7, 8, 4, 5, 4, 6, ace 4. Once we lose into that, but like all those hands call, and then they fold mostly to river shoves. Super small 3-bet. I think we just have to call king 3 suited there, and just checking out the deuces. But, I really don't feel like I've been playing very good since yesterday. He goes half pot. 3-bet's free. Goes half pot. If I call once with bottom pair. He goes half pot again, so we will fold that. If he checked there, we would go bet shove most of the time. Okay, fold the 6-5, fold the 7 deuce, fold the 7 deuce, 3 deuce. We're just folding. Be honest. Let's check how things are going here after some spewage. Okay, we're actually on an uptick, surprisingly. Fold the 9 deuce. Okay, we'll fold the 10-8. The only reason we're on an uptick right now, because we're playing like shit, is that there's so many fish at all the tables, and they're kind of keeping us alive. But we are not playing very well right now. Okay. Pick up the open ender, flop checks around, we are going to barrel. 1-2 tables, on the river. Oh man, that's tempting. That's tempting. This goes so bad. Alright, I think we have to sit here. The 1-2. Be nice for him to be on our right. So, see how this plays out. If we can get action with him or not. But Drew's pretty tight-ish. This guy makes another super tiny 3-bet. We just call. Okay, fold here. 7 fold. The ace jack, I think we just fold against the 4x open and then fold call. He bets. We're gonna start with call. Okay, king on the turn. Obviously, we lose to kings, king jack, pocket deuces. He bets again. I think the best play is probably just to call here. Fold the 10-3. And I think, given that we're heads up and we have a flush, I think probably have to value shove here. And I think he calls. I think he calls King X. So I think when if we think he calls King X, we just have to shove there. There's not really anything else to do, and I think he's just committed himself quite a bit. But a lot of the time, he has King X there, and he's just like, I'm not folding. And that's that. Okay, Queen 8 suited, we'll raise. Ace 4, fold. 7 deuce, fold. King deuce, fold. Unfortunately, he sits out. He leaves. Okay, fold the 8-4, fold the 9-4. Like, this is the spots where is it here? You know, like, what am I bluffing? I'm never bluffing, right? So it kind of just comes down to what we're, like, value versus value, right? Is basically what it comes down to. Because he's so pot committed, like, there's just no bluffs, right? So that's why you have to think that they'll call a king basically there, or like he'll call ace jack with ace of spades or something some portion of the time. Oh, he's got a diamond though. Then you can shove the flush. If you think they're never calling the king, and they're never willing to call like jack X or the ace of spades, like, then you probably just call, and that's that. Because that if you shove, you're only going to get called by, you know, if that's the thought process, then the only thing you get called by is a better flush or a boat, and then, you know, there's no like value betting. You're just basically giving them money. Okay, fold the 8-3 suited. We fold king 9. And we're going to call if he shoves. Chop it up. Okay, we'll fold jack 8. I feel like there's going to be a bad beat. I feel like there'll be a bad beat jack. I really do. No 100, not for us. I just think it's going to hit at the tables. So maybe we'll get lucky and we'll be on it. But it's been pretty dead for bad beat jackpots lately. Or it's another thing that, like, you pay another rake too, right, for the bad beat jackpot, so that always hurts your win rate quite a bit as well. We're a little bit deeper, so I don't mind 3-betting with threes here. Gives us a chance to win a big pot if we can hit, and they also just will fold a whole bunch. The Jack 9-5, not super great, not terrible. Love Maria is a relatively straightforward player. So I think we can c-bet here, and we can double barrel. Probably like any ace, any king. Obviously any 3. Probably a queen as well. We can just fold to a raise. So yeah, I think we go for the... I think when she tanks there... I think we're just going to go for a double barrel. I think people are just mass overfolding double barrels, especially at a position in 3-bet pots. And then we would have shoved that river if she called. And we're actually ahead of some hands here, like king 10, queen 10, 10-8 suited, stuff like that. And he always folds a 5. She always folds like 5-6, 4, not 4-5, but 5-6, ace 5. Those all fold turn. Pretty much 100% when we double barrel. Okay, ace king versus queens, classic flip there. Okay, fold 6-7 off. On the river, let's see, any hands, showdown, king 10. Check call, bet. guy really slow played his hand. Can't slow play against rolling a river here. Just gonna call. Alright. Definitely 3-betting the ace king here. We are pretty deep. So we do proceed with caution. 4 deuce suited will call. It's good, relatively good board for us. Definitely be floating here. Ace queen, or queen at 10. I think this is just a big bet. Like 2 face cards when there's a flush draw out there. And here he doesn't see bet, but we have a gut shot in the back door, flush draw, so we're gonna bet. And then there's a ton of turns. Deuce, yeah, we're barreling the deuce, we're barreling diamonds, we're barreling an ace. Anything that gives us more equity, right? So an ace, a deuce, 4, a diamond, a 5. Those are all being barreled. King's being barreled. Ace is being barreled. So it's a great spot, obviously, for us to bet, or at least bet and barrel. Obviously, we're just going to call here because who cares? 4 or 5 bigs, and we're ahead. He's just going to have every 2 cards in the deck. Okay, so far so good. Okay, no 7, no queen, no 8. Okay, we just take it down. And we ISO the pocket jacks here, of course. And if Langman shoves, we're not super stoked about it, but we do call, so I'm directly off. Yeah. Cold 4-bet squeeze, shoved, over open, and 3 with ace 5 off or 7 good. So yeah, he's just gonna do some random stuff, so we definitely just fold to him. Alright, that's a good flop for us. We're just gonna go 11. The reason is we want to make sure we can shove over top of Langman if he shoves. Here's this 10. How do we not? Yeah, that's probably a good thing. But still. Now, what did we do here? King, queen. We raised, he called. Check, check. Turn should have just been a 2x pot, probably. Fold 10-3. King 4 suited fold. And we'll just check here again. Fold 5-3. If you guys are just joining the stream, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Definitely helps promote the channel. Trying to keep this stream going every single day, so it is appreciated. Seeing the comments and the thumbs up on the videos. Jacks we raised. Fold 5-3. 3-handed, we're just checking here. Okay, flop another set. This board, we're just going to go big. And we're going to 3-bet the 10s. Okay, we do get called. It's a good start. Could argue overbetting here. Overbetting might actually be the best. We want to go almost pop it at least. And 3-handed, right? We're just getting out of the way. We're kind of stuck in the middle here, so just folds. 6 points in the river. I think an overbet is probably best here, right? Because 3/4 is just kind of stupid. I think we want to try to get the money into the top side, so pretty much should be overbetting and then just shoving everything on the river, or deciding. Like if it's a river brick, we don't think he calls. Maybe we bet small. But I think anything but an overbet's probably bad on the turn here, especially on the 3, because if we're bluffing, we're going to overbet, so we should be overbetting our value there. And then, like, checking, you know, like King Jack, Queen Jack would check there to protect that range a little bit. It's a low frequency 3-bet. But yeah, I think overbetting is what you have to do, and then just rip the river. Unless it's a brick. Like if it was like the deuce of hearts, or like a 7 of hearts or something, or whatever. Like 6 clubs is only not a brick. But if it's like a 6 of hearts, you could argue maybe going small. potentially. I don't know, because he has like a jack. You have pocket jacks though, right? So he's like floating with king 10, queen 10. The only argument to be going small would be to try to get paid off by a 10, basically. And the other fact being that if they had pocket deuces, pocket 10s, pocket 3s, like if they had a set, they're just like they're gonna shove over you. So what you do doesn't really matter in that case. So those are kind of general considerations, I think, for the river when you're deciding between just like ripping it all in or, you know, pot or 2/3 is like what's his range basically looking to do. Is he mostly full of bluffs? Then we should check because he's just gonna fold all the time. He's mostly weighted towards like second pairs, then we want to go small. You know, if he's weighted towards the top pair, we want to go bigger. And if we think he's pretty polarized, we just kind of mix, I think. And we think he has the nuts or a bluff. Actually, realistically, if we think he's really strong, checking maybe is best a lot of the time out of position. Obviously, if they check you, yeah. So if they check to you, you go small to induce them to shove their sets. And if you're out of position and you just think they have a bluff, like a set or 2 pair, then checking's probably best. You know what I mean? Because then they're just going to shove it in. And they might bluff shove with their bluffs. Probably pretty close, actually. Queen 5, we're just going to fold. Yeah, we'll just let the queen 5 go. How much is this guy 3-betting? Pretty much never. Roll on the river. Whatever. This guy's just super tight, so we're just going to raise. And we'll fold the jack 6. Rona, we expected to call, so he does call. Okay, we do flop bottom pair. This board, yeah, I think we just go, we go big here. Rona's going to be in an awkward spot if she doesn't have an ace. They're going to do a lot of folding. And here with the ace, we just check back. Rona calls again. I think we want to bet again here. Just on the king. It's such a big portion of our range. I doubt they think we fold often enough. So I don't think they're going to bluff us. Okay, we just fold. I don't think they'd bluff us here. Like, they could have ace jack, ace 4, jack 4, queen 10, stuff like that. I don't expect to get bluffed there, like, ever 3 ways. We're going to check back here. That's not the greatest of turn thirds. Fold here, and I don't think we can value bet the queen 9, so just have to check down. I'm not sure what you're calling the flop for, but to each their own. Oh man, all our 50 NL tables are dying. Let's just check on our stats for the day. Probably good until that bluff there. I was gonna say we were head up, and you know, 200 double barrel. It is a little bit frisky, probably double barreling this guy, because they're just a mega whale. So really, we want to be like value barreling more than anything. Jack 10 off's close, but I'll call. Okay, pocket 6s. What happened here? We raised, they called. We decided to not c-bet this for some reason. I think we just have to bluff now. Okay, we're gonna make a small value bet here. I think it's unlikely. Just fold that. And we'll make another small value bet. I think a 9's just betting the flop most of the time. Like, I think it's gonna be a pretty random scenario where he checks back like 8-9 or something on the flop. I think people are just gonna be c-betting there a ton with it. I can't believe how dead these tables are. Now, Shameless plays up 2-5, and he's that small, eh? Oh, Lucky Charm's a whale, so that's good. Another whale at the table. Ace King. We're just gonna go with our patent half stack barrel. You could definitely squeeze the 7/8 suited there. That actually might be a mandatory squeeze. Right. Spades. Right, chop it up. Fold the 8/7. Okay. 6/5 fold. Queen 6 fold. Jack 3 fold. It'll be nice to get our bankroll back up to playing these 1, 2, and 2, 5 games here soon. Yeah, we'll fold the 9/6. Fold the 8/7. Queen 6 suited fold, 6/7 off. The Ace-4. Okay, raise the 5s, check the Ace-4, check the Ace-4. Check the Ace-4. And we'll fold the Ace-4. Okay, the 8/7 suited, we're going to raise that up. I think we'll 3-bet this time. Let's 3-bet this time. It's pretty low frequency. We've had it quite a few times in the small blind, and we've yet to 3-bet it, so we'll just pop one up here. Okay. Cool. I just not c-betting here. I think we just give up first the cold call on this board. We'll go 10%, but like just because we're stabbing here. The 6/5 suited against a super small 3-bet, even though he's short, we are going to call that. And to a full pot, yeah, okay. Congrats. I don't know, what do you call them there? Aces, 10s? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Check the 8/5. Fold the 6 deuce and the king 3. And go for a small check where he's here, 3-handed. Check to him on the 10 of hearts. And we'll check again. And we win. Okay, so this is a limped pot. I think we lead out here. And then we're going to call if Langman shoves. Okay, calls. And we're just going to go full pot. I'm not really sure what he overlimps with on his stack size. Okay, we check back the 9. Call the turn. And we're just calling river as well. Beat by the kicker, but come on. Oh. Okay, fold 7/5. Be nice to get some hands here where we don't lose kickers and this and that. But again, it's expected. Like, let's just go back here to where we started the challenge. Was this the 18th or something? So we are on our biggest downswing since starting the challenge. But again, like, your win rate can only be so high. And variance is a huge thing. So you're gonna go on these like big upswings, these big break-even stretches, these like slow downward hills of death, but then spike back up and then break even and spike up again and then spike down and break even again. You know, like, it's just kind of how it plays out. That's why poker is such a long-term game. And like, one of the biggest, we ISO raised, he calls. So we're just gonna check here. We're obviously squeezing queens. Oh no, didn't go big enough. Oh no. Yeah, that sucks. But given stack sizes, I'm just ripping every single flop. There's not really anything we can do about it when they pop up with like ace 7. Yeah. Like, good play. Fucking good lord. Overcall, 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 and then just bang, ace 10. Good lord, that is tilted. But that was my mistake. Well, not really. I guess maybe we should have gone small enough that he could have just shoved, and then this fish could have folded, but so frustrating. So cold calls, then we go 1350. He calls, and he just calls for fun. Hits the ace, and we're toast. Maybe that's just a check fold, but or pot size bet. I'm just like ripping my entire range there, basically. Oh man. But anyways, what I was trying to get at is that one of the biggest factors is your mental game. Because it's hard when people tilt off and like you just blow tons of your bankroll when you're raging and not playing properly. This guy's playing every hand. And we're ISOing here, we're ISOing here. He checks to us twice, so we're just going to bet any pair, basically. When we get checked to twice, you can pretty much value bet it. And we are going to value bet the hearts. I don't think he checks twice with a heart in his hand. Basically, we're just going to treat this as an all-in, so we'll just fold. The queen 9 off is a close call. Fold. We're going to go half pot here. I think it's... Make sure I collapse here. It's only money, just calls. Calls this flop. Didn't 3-bet pre-flop. So, not sure necessarily what range I would put him on, but I think we just kind of check back here. And we left to get the showdown. Yep. Oh, ace 10 again. Great. Just snap. Okay, we bet the kings. And we bet again. And we just have to shove here. Hope he has an ace. Anything else, we're just going to miss a ton of value with, I think. Oh, it's been really good for us. What's that? 40, ace 10, ace 10, ace 10, ace 10 for the win. This guy's like literally a 3 hand. I know it's only 5 hands, but you can just tell the way he's playing it. He's basically playing everything. That's a little bit 3. So anyways, point being, mental game's a big part of it. Because it is super tilted. For everything you do, it's like you're outkicked, you're outbeat. They're flopping 3 outers, you're putting all this money in pre-flop, and then you're just getting binked, right? Like, it does, it gets tilted. It really does. Especially when it comes in heats, right? Like, I'm pretty tilted right now, won't lie. And it's mostly from yesterday. Now it's carrying over today. But that's just kind of what happens, right? Like it is part of the game, but it is infuriating sometimes to just go running bad, right? But again, like if you check the charts here, like first 30,000 hands of the challenge, you know, we're just kind of cruising along here. Obviously, there's this break-even stretch right here, and then there's this down dip here as well. And remember, there's a lot of NL 50 mixed in here. The queen 10 will just defend. Big bet here, we'll just fold to it. Not really folding that. Fold 3 deuce. We will ISO the ace 4. If this guy shoves, we're gonna be stuck calling, obviously. Right. Just give him calls. Good board. So we have bottom pair here. He has basically a stack size bet. I'm not really sure the best play in these scenarios, but I think I'm just going to shove. Ace king, we'll check back. Raise the ace 5. This guy just sits down, just gives his money away. This Carmelo, fucker. Fold here. Okay, we make the nuts. See if we can get some action. Yeah, what did he do? Bad stat. At least he gave it to a fish. Yeah, I picked out on it either. Fold, fold, fold. Hopefully, okay, Susie. I'm just gonna click it. I think it just looks rando. These guys a lot of the time. And we threw it next suited. And now we have a clean shove on the river. And hopefully we get paid. Sometimes the turn click it back, it just makes it look nutty and then they fold everything, but I think a lot of the time they're just going to call off like Queen X. When you're up against a bunch of fish kind of thing. But yeah, basically like we've been on essentially a tear until the last 14, well, more hands than that now, over the last like 3,000 hands. And now even last, we're up a bit here, so. Anyways, the point being is sometimes it's just helpful to take a step back and look at it and be like, okay, you know, we played 34,000 hands, absolutely annihilating, right? 35,000, we were up 3,800 bucks basically, and now we're on a small dip down. Right, and you just kind of have to grind through it and accept it. Sometimes it's better when you can actually put volume in, because you can kind of grind out and get through it. This isn't a much of a downswing. Like, what did we peak at? Like 3,700. And we're just gonna click this in with the open ender. Let's just watch how it plays out. Fold Jack 8. Jack, no. Oh, he just has the nuts already? Come on, bro. Give me one win here. Doesn't even matter the pot size. Oh, man, chair. I need a new chair. Like, the airbag's gone in this. So it's constantly, like, shrinking. So you'll notice it if I disappear on the camera. It's because my chair has shrunk. Alright, A7 suited we... A7 suited, we raise. We are going to ISO here as well with the 10-9 suited. We are calling the jack here against the turn stab. A-Rouse, is he even 3-betting? He used to be super spazzy, but he's not 3-betting enough here. If he's willing to bet the heart, he didn't bet. I think I'm just going to call because he didn't bet flop. They're the king. King, surprise. Generally, like, that's not going to get bet. If they don't bet the flop, then they have a weak king at best. So it's usually going to be like they'll stab turn with it, but then they don't bet river, especially when the flush comes in and stuff. So I'm actually a little surprised about that. Okay, well, we're calling, I guess. And I'm going to shove because I don't believe anybody has a strong... Oh, wow. Never mind. That was so close to a stupid mistake. I thought the board was 3-3 deuce. Yeah, we're just done. I mean, shoving might work there anyways, but my plan was shoving because I don't really think they have anything, but we have all the equity of the flush draw and overcards and stuff to fall back on. But with three threes out there, we don't have that. Like, we could be dead to a 10 and a 9 at best. So let's get out of the way here. Fold 7-3, fold 7-3. Alright, table's got to be filling up here. Oh, that's a 1. Alright, we got 50 cents. Sit down here. Check the 3s. Fold the 9 deuce, fold the 7 deuce. So anyway, point being is if you kind of like look at this run up, right? 21 to 3,700. So, you know, you're bound to tick down when you go from that. Like, say, like, take a step back here and go, this is what, you know, helps me anyways. tilt a little bit less. We're just going half stack here, obviously, and then just ripping flop. Or calling if he just decides to stick it in. Okay, that's fold. Alright, we hit our queen at least. We are check calling the ace-10 suited. We will just take a flop with the sixes. And we'll stab here once it checks around. Check here, check here. Okay, we win there. We're just c-betting and double barreling this board. Definitely calling the sixes here. We're ahead of 3x, 5x. We're ahead of all the flush draws. Two blocks on the hand. And we are double barreling here. Raising the king four suited. Okay, we take that down. Okay. So we bet flop, barrel turn, get called, get called. And then the clubs roll off. Guess we just have to check the fold here. Like your best case scenario there is that he's chasing the flush. You still have the best hand. That's it. Not really very good. Okay. The king 10 here will defend. Fold the ace 5. He checks back flop. I guess we just check. Well, I just snap check. I'm just going to show down the king. Ace 10. Okay. We were going to double barrel, or like we were going to 2x pot that turn, but he's so short stacked that kind of decided against it because of that. Okay, the 5 here on this board. This board we want to bet big. And we're going to double barrel on the jack turn. Fold the 9-7. Fold the 8-7 on the NL 200 table. Fold the 6-5. Fold 6-5. Pocket 5s will bump up. And we'll defend the 10-7 suited. Check folding that flop. Let's see if we can get any other tables. Not really. Fat stacks 3 bets, but it goes really small, so we are going to call there. Okay, and we're just going to take. I think we just take a check call, check shove line here. I think that's probably our best chance to get paid off, is that he has a king and he's just going to go bet, bet, bet. And we raise the 6s. We're just going to think for a minute. Call. And check. Sucks if he checks back the king now that the flush came. Yeah. And then obviously we lose the jacks and king jack. But yeah, the money just goes in here. Nice. Queen jack suited. I guess against a raise in the 3-bet we just fold. And we'll raise the king 7 suited. Fold the ace 6. Pocket 8s are a raise, of course. King 9 suited raise, 7 fold. Yeah, so I think I'm going to call here against not better than you. And not against that squeeze, though. And the 8s here, we're going to definitely 3-bet them. Okay. Check that flop. Guess. So if he had, I think I'm just gonna click it in here. Like if he had jacks plus, he would have shoved 3. So I think he has a lot of draws here. This is jack 10. I'm gonna stop following these spots. It'd be nice to just like not get burned in these spots too. It'd be cool. Where you just like this clown has 30 bigs and calls Jack 10 offsuit to a 3-bet and then spikes a 10. Let's just win. Anyways. Alright, the ace jack we raise. We're folding here. We do need to mark this guy as a skew little fish. Ace 4 suited we raise. Fold the 10-8. Ace 6 suited we raise. The 10-7 will check. Fold jack 4. And alright, let's check this twice. We're just gonna bluff here. Check the 6. So welcome to the stream, guys. The current bankroll is 4,300 after a pretty disastrous Friday. We lost about 6 or so buy-ins. The king jack off will call. Good flop, not folding. And I think ripping just looks the bluffiest. So we squeeze the ace 10. I am just calling down against this guy. If we lose, we lose. Oh my god. Okay. Get it in here, which will counteract some of that if we can actually. I'm gonna chirp this guy a little bit here. We're gonna check on the ace here. So we squeeze, excuse me, we 3-bet. We called. Okay, cool. Alright, now we're just value betting river. Once he checks back turn, if he shoves, like he obviously checked back queen, king, or jacks or 10s. But I think generally, once he checks back turn, he's just looking for showdown, so we just have a clean value bet there. And here, yeah, we lost to the jack 10, and then lost to the ace 9 suited. We did win over here to counteract that a little bit, so that's kind of good. And then that was a big pickup down here too. Between all that, that's good. We did get a little chirpy there, because it was a little tilting. Getting binked on again on the river. We'll fold king jack. And then we had a big win over here for 100 bigs, so that was good. But yeah, like my point that I was trying to get at here is you look at this, it's 8,000 hands, right? And we went from 21 to 32. So this has just got to be a c-bet here. Guess we fold this one. But yeah, if you look at this like crazy run up, but you just go to our lowest point here, we're at 21, say we're at 2150 with 32,000 hands. So that means basically over 8,000 hands, we went from 2150 to 3250, right? So that's over 10 BBs per 100, which is fine. Obviously we're just folding here, there's nothing we can do. Just this little dongfish thinking. Think. And then sit there. Cool. So anyway, that's kind of what we're getting at here is like, you know, you look at this downswing and it gets all tilty, but like it's all about volume. You just have to put the volume in because these are all going to happen. You're only going to win at a certain win rate, so it's bound to happen. Like if you know, if you're on a 20 BB per 100 stretch, like that's going to level out because you are not beating the game for 20 BBs per 100. You're just not. And that's kind of the reality of it. At least I shouldn't say that because 20 BBs is possible, for sure. We average about 15 BBs per 100 at NL 100, like pre-rake, obviously. It's just weird, like, because rake's so high nowadays, your BB per 100 used to be, like, not, with no rake back, and, like, just what you're winning. But because rake's gone up so much, and then rake back's gone up so much, it's, I don't know, whatever. The way people determine win rates is just all over the place. So we just talk about it as pre-rake, and it is what it is, because that's kind of what you're beating the game for, and then they take their cut, and you're left with, you know, what you're left with. But anyways, point being, we're around 15-ish BBs per 100 at NL 100 and NL 50. So the games are definitely you know, for around that. I know a couple guys who are higher than that by a couple big blinds. So it's doable, but the point is, when you're on a crazy streak of like 20 BBs or 30 or 40 big blinds per 100 for like 7,000 hands, that's going to come crashing down, right? You just got to expect it, essentially. This is how it works. It just balances out, right? Whether it comes crashing down or you just go on like a 20,000 hand break-even stretch, like the volume's going to be there, and it's just going to level out over time, and you just play through it. Honestly, just a sec. The best way is just to at a position. I think we just go half pot on this board. If we're rolling the stations, we're just going to check fold because I don't think he folds anything, and we're really just looking to hit a hand against them. But your best case, like not tilt, is to like not track anything. Like once you know that you're beating the game, like track it, but like don't look at it. You know what I mean? Because it really doesn't matter. Like check it every 30 days and just see where you're at. Checking it every day will drive you nuts, because then you just like you feel the swings so much more. Like just like this, right? If we were to rewind a week, I wonder if we block that here. Actually, when bet check back, we'll go with our little 10%er and we'll see how he reacts to it. Fold the jack 4. Right, let's just check here. Fold here. Fold here. Might call this because he is pretty screwy. We'll call the jacks. Better than you. We do 4-bet this sometimes. We fold it sometimes. We call it sometimes. But here, he did check back turn, right? Like, let's just double check that. Flop, turn. Oh, he did bet turn. Alright, I misread that hand. So we're going to fold because of that. And flop checks around. I'm just going to shove here. I think 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10. They all call. Love Maria. I don't, like, she's checked to us on the flop. So she doesn't have, like, queens plus or anything. So I think we just want to get it in against the whale. Or, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can run it. And here we are going to 3-bet. And win both up here in the top right. So that's good. And to this guy, we're not folding, obviously. What's our stats here? Yeah, 3-bet's fine. Ace-9 suited. I have to double check these. I think Ace-9 suited is all. Do a little bit more calling with certain hands in the big blind, like King-Jack suited and stuff. Because getting 4-bet with those is like a disaster. Against the button, it might just be 3-bet all the way through. Gotta double check some of that. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of like the best way to do it, is to like just not look at anything. Put that in here. Let's go leg the game. Alright, so we 3-bet the ace-jack. We raise the king-5 suited. Fold here. Rolling the calls again. We're just like spewing money to this guy at this point. I think we've lost every hand we've played against him. Raise here. We also can't hit a flop. So that hasn't really helped. Okay, so he checks back. I think this Langman drives me nuts with his short stacks. We're just gonna get caught. Okay, good. Alright, so we check back. Flop checks around. We're gonna 2x pot it here and take it down. We're gonna fold here. You're going lost. Got to do something here quick. Pull this out of the way. That's why we're legging out. Okay. We're just gonna call the queens here against the MP 3-bet. just gotta delete some stuff here. Free up some space. Okay. We are gonna call one, and we are gonna squeeze here. And if he 4-bets, I think probably just shove. So we 3-bet him quite a few times. Calls. Okay. 4-3-9. All right. I think we have to call again when he goes this small. 3-bet here. I think this board, given the bottom pair, we can just go half pot. Ace is actually a really good character. He did fold slot. Interesting. Check here. With the bottom pair there, like that's a board you do check some portion of the time. But with bottom pair, especially like ace 4, okay, we are gonna fold the queens now. I missed a c-bet there blabbing on. I sure did. So I think now, our best bet's to go smaller now and make it look like we have like jacks, queens. I don't even know what I was talking about. And he calls. I think this guy's going to be pretty hard to fold, so I think I'm just going to give up. Yeah, I don't think he folds 10s. That's basically what we were repping after checking flop. But basically, we should have bet flop and then barrel turn. That was like a mistake. Because we were just motoring on against this guy. And we'll 3-bet the 7s. Raise the ace 10. 4-bet's coming soon. Like this is the third or fourth time we've 3-bet him. So I think the 7s are a call against that bet. One, I think he's going to be relatively light and have some bluffs in here. Okay. Check here, call here. All right, so on this spot, honestly, I think I want to rip it. We just have so much equity that, yeah, I'm gonna shove. I'm just gonna shove. We just have so much equity if he does like have check, if he's check calling pocket aces or something here. Obviously 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces are all the same here, and it should be the same for him. But this is just a bad board for his range. He might snap call. He might call ace king versus the shove because it does look super spewy, and he might call there. And we're gonna ISO the king queen. Don't call the 9-8 suited. Not sure about that flop bet. The issue is like I think I'd rather him fold, right? Like we want to fold here versus us betting and him check shoving. But then again, if he check shoves, GTO probably never shoves that, I would imagine. We're gonna call the 8-9 suited here. Just want to double check the flop here. He raises. We just called on the button, which I think is okay some portion of the time. Like calling's relatively speaking not good, obviously, except for in the big blind. But the reason it's always, theoretically, like button, GTO does tons of calling on the button. It all depends on your blinds too. So if you got pretty tight blinds that aren't going to be squeezing you a whole bunch, then you can obviously just call certain hands more often. We do raise this a good portion of the time. I think with the king coming and him double barreling the king, like obviously he's going to do that as a bluff a lot. We just value bet the jack here now. But he's also going to have a lot of king X in his range. So we're just targeting that sort of king X with a 60-70% there. It's pretty hard to get value though. Like, and that's the issue with like taking the check call, or just the call lines with flush draws and stuff, is that when they hit the river, you know, it's so blatantly obvious. If you bet, you know what I mean, that you're kind of chasing that flush draw, that it's really pretty difficult to get paid off. But anyways, back to this. All I was getting at is that, like, you know, if you check take the massive run up and then the slow run down, you end up with like 12 PBs per 100 or so, or more actually, to the budget. You know, we're at what, 1100 profit, we're 1200, we're 1100 profit over 8,000 hands basically is where we're at, and that's got a bunch of NL50 mixed into it, right? So, you know, your overall BB, I don't know how you look at it, but you're going to be higher than 12 big blinds when half of that is NL50, right? That's 12 BBs, assuming that's, oh, those are all NL100 hands, but at least a few thousand of those are NL50. So, point is, when you take the bigger picture into it, it kind of helps with the tilt sometimes, if you find yourself tilting. And the other thing is to just like completely avoid checking your profit. Obviously, for us, it's not doable. We're running this NL, 1K challenge, so it's like every day matters. But it's tilted. Like, it's watching, like, going, okay, we were at 4,800 24 hours ago, and now we're down to 43. So like when you're on a aggressive track and you're watching it every day, like it's hard to just not get tilted because you're up and down, up and down, up and down. If you don't check your profit, like imagine if we didn't check anything here and then we came back and we checked and we're like, oh shit, 8,000 hands, we're winning at like 13 bigs. That's great. Versus watching it every day, and you're like, oh wow, I'm on this downswing now. This is terrible. And you're all tilty about it. And it's just like, who cares? There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's a break-even stretch essentially here, right? Like, it's just kind of how it rolls. So the point is, like, over a week or over a month when you check it, like, you just see profit, and you see more profit and more profit, and it's way less tilting than checking every day. So that's just kind of my advice, is try not to check. Like, I get checking every couple days and checking at the end of sessions and all that stuff. We're going to 2x this because we do it a lot with almost nothing. So I want to mix in some good top pair hands as well, just for balance. Okay. Fold Queen 7. So yeah, if you guys are just joining now, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps promote the channel. We're really putting in an effort to try to stream this challenge every single day. So definitely appreciate the support. I guess we just fold the 8s because we're a giant nit. Easton suited here. I'd rather see that with a diamond on board, but I think this is fine. Having the diamond might even make it better to check back there. We are going to check back the jack. Those are some of the more nuanced spots that we need to review. Where, like here, like 6, 7, 9 rainbow, we have ace 10. Okay, we're going to value the jack 10 here. Fold 10 4. It's just gone check, check, check. You gotta bet. Like, to me, originally I think, okay, if there's a diamond out there, I have more equity, it's better to bet with the diamond, but it might actually be worse, and GTO might check back with the diamond and wait for like a delayed c-bet to see if the diamond hits, because then you just have so much more equity. And if you have the diamond there and you bet and they check raise you, that's way worse than you not having a diamond and just c-betting and then they check raise you and you just have an easy fold. So they're kind of weird spots like that, but anyways. Yeah, we're just go small here. I don't think overbetting doesn't do anything about it for us. The only thought, though, I guess, is like people have a lot of ace X there, so pocket tens. I'm pretty sure against an undergun 4-bet is just fold. Fold here, especially better than you. Like, he's just so spewy. I don't get it. He's got such a major ego. He was in here like chirping chat the one day. I think I blocked him. Yeah, I think he can still see the channel. But he can't actually comment on it or something like that. He's just chirping on the site, chirping over here, using the Discord, chirping some other guy the other day too. But he's like table hopping and shit. Like, he's just a clown, this guy. I just wanted to put that out there. Pocket nines, fold. The king queen, we check to him. We have the gut shot. I think after he checks around on the flop, I think we'll go for a little check raise here. We have equity, and I think if he doesn't have like a 9 or an ace and he's just kind of stabbing here, we just win, right? Well, obviously, if he's just stabbing, we win. And he just doesn't have a lot of aces and 9s when he checks back flop. Fold 7-5 suited. And the king deuce will raise. Pocket tens raise. We're ISOing the king deuce suited. 3-betting the ace queen suited. Folding the ace 4. So with all that said, let's jump back to today. We'll just see how today's going so far. So I feel like we turned it around a little bit. The king deuce, he leads into us. We are going to call. Right? And if he bets again, we're just shoving now. There's enough draws and flush draws and straight draws and pairs, all that stuff in his range that I think just getting it in there is probably best. We will check back on the jack. Yeah, so we're just dodging hearts. Run it twice. Nope, run it once. Beautiful. We check back flop, and we get a queen on the turn. We're gonna call. We now be 8-9. We lose to 10 jack, but I think if he goes small, we're gonna shove. If he goes big, I'd probably just call. And with this run out and 3/4 led into me, I guess we just fold the 10s. Alright, if he goes big enough, we'll just call the ace queen. Yeah. There's an argument for definitely like raising turn there. For sure. Just getting it in with 70-30 against these like flush draws and stuff. Because he's not really one to fold often enough. Fold to the 6. And then this hand with the 10s, let's just see here. Raise, he calls, we bet flop, calls. Turn's a bet, the checking turn's terrible. Pocket 10s here, like that jack means nothing. And then folding river's probably pretty bad too, so. Yeah. Bet turn, and then if you check turn, call that river. I think. River maybe is close because he goes 3/4 pot, and like he does it on the ace. And we obviously have a lot of aces, so it's probably closer than you might think. 3 ways, we're just checking the 4s. Ico Boss bets will call. Yeah, definitely call here. Raise the kings. If he keeps barreling, it might be a bit closer. Hand slash. All kinds of spades. We do block like ace 4, ace 5 though. We unblock all the spades. I'm gonna call here because I know Roland is gonna call. Nothing for us. Fold the ace 6. I guess we just let the 4s go. I don't know. That's close. Definitely close to just calling off. If he shoved, I would call probably more often. So it probably looks a little bit bluffier, I think. Like he's putting, he really wants that, fold equity. But it also could just be like he doesn't want to go bankrupt because he wants to keep playing poker and he doesn't have any more. So it goes a little bit less than full pot shove. And we do brick the 1-2 table, so it's there for us. Fold the 9-5. Yeah, okay, so today, let's just see if we've turned it around a little bit. So we're up to 150 now. So it's 1,300 hands. We're at 150. A little bit better than where it was at. But that can obviously swing down pretty quickly. Okay, fold the 10-5, fold the ace 9 and the 9-4 suited. Open the jack 10. Fold the ace deuce. Alright, C. Okay. Ovo Sherry limps in. Okay. Oh, misclick. So we meant to ISO obviously to 6x there, so we're just gonna play this hand hit hit or miss post flop at this point. After that click, so we're just gonna let the show down. He leads into us, we're just gonna let it go. Not much else really to say. Misclick there. So libbed pot. We're gonna bet small and double barrel, I think. Fold the king six. Interesting. I think we just overbet now that we turn the straight. Mostly just gonna get straight folds though, but we gotta go for some value there. We turn a big hand. Okay, we're gonna raise the queen deuce, raise the queen jack, and the jack, ace jack suited. Against a small open and somebody's not gonna 3-bet us in the big blind, I think calling's fine. Some portion of the time here. I don't think we necessarily need to build pot every time. GTO definitely calls ace queen suited, ace jack suited. I'm pretty sure at a small blind against under the gun opens, at least for some portion of the time. Okay, we check back. That's a good turn card. This table just went to hell, so we're gonna leave it. Flop. Yeah, we check, call, checks. ISO here. Definitely calling the queen now. Definitely calling the queen here as well. I'm calling a river bet. And we're going to value bet the ace here. Picker plays, so that's good. And we're just getting this in. We rivered top. Essentially top two. Of course he has a set. Why wouldn't he? So annoying, man. Like, seriously? If pocket sixes, you call with 30 bigs, flop a set, and then we go runner, two pair. Like, I cannot get away from this shit. He's tilting the hell out of me. And I think just calling there is obviously way too stupid, maybe. Like, when you go runner, two pair, and like, yeah, I just think it's crazy. We did anything but value shove there. Okay, raise the eights. Okay, check to king. Call. And we're gonna have to check fold though if he bets again, even with trips. Hearts come in, any jack we lose to. I'm gonna value bet the ace of spades, eight of spades. Fold here. Okay, it's quite the turn card. He leads into us. That's fine. I think we'll just call there. I don't. Oh my god, bro. Chop it up. He had us anyways, so that's fine. So, on the turn there, that's a spot where he should be just like shoving, like open shoving 100% of the time. And the reason is that he has the nut flush draw. And he has a 7, and I don't have 7, 8, right? So, ever. Like, I just don't have 7, 8 really there, and he doesn't have to worry about it. So he, like, theoretically, he should just shove turn, because when I have a 7, I might fold, because it might not be worth it. But most of the time, if you have a 7 there and somebody just shoves 50 bigs into you, you're just going to call. And then he's just free rolling to the spades. Okay, fold here. So IKO boss will just give his money away eventually. Unfortunately, we just gave him some money there. But that's fine. Okay. I am going to take a little break here in a minute. The stream's been 2 hours. We haven't really stopped. We are going to c-bet here the 9-9 deuce. Okay, we take it down. Yeah, I think after those hits, we're probably around 100 now. Yeah, a little hit there, a little hit. Derek 3x opens. He's actually really tight. I think I'm just gonna fold the queen jack off there. Just because he doesn't open anywhere near often enough. So he's gonna have such a strong range. I don't really want to get into a spot where we're just dominated at a position a ton. Like we'd call 6-5 suited there stuff, but the queen jack off, queen jack suited call, the jack off is just not really worth it. Okay, we're gonna raise the 7-3 suited, fold the 8-6. Okay. Throw. This one, double check. So yeah, we ISO raise, and he just decides to donk lead. We're gonna call. King rolls off, and his bet sizing will dictate if we are calling or not. He checks. That's interesting. Well, I think if he is checking to induce me, it's going to work because I'm going to bet and I'm going to shove river. He does snap call. What is going on here? I guess maybe he has 10 jack. Like, I don't know. We have to think. I mean, I guess that's good. If he leads out there, it's an easy fold for us. I don't know. Alright, 2 fish in the blinds, so we're just going to go a bit bigger here. We are just looking to check down queen 8. Yeah, we just have to fold that. This guy does a lot of bluffing. Like, he's a giant spew monkey half the time. So there is, you know, that. Can I hit a hand against this giant donk, please? Holy Moses. Right. Ace is up here, flop top pair here. We're just going to check the 9 deuce. We're going to fold the jack 9. Fold. Yeah, squeezing the aces. Okay, pick up a gut shot. The king also falls. And Love Maria is not a bluffer. Pretty much ever. So we are just going to, of course, play pretty nitty against her, and if she's double barreling, even if it's a good double barrel card, we're just going to kind of get out of the way and sort of lean more, like, you know, Love Maria, we're going to lean towards overfolding. Not better than you, we're going to lead to overcalling, and all of these guys we're just looking to hit hands with, right? Like all the fish. We're just looking to raise it, kind of push with it. So blind versus blind here, we ISO'd, she called. We're going to bet and then double barrel a bunch of turn cards. She raises. Again, we don't think she's ever bluffing, so we're just going to let her go. Ace queen at a position. Just not worth calling. Because basically the point is that if she's so tight, we don't think she bluffs. Even like best case scenario, she has a spade draw, she's going to double barrel, and we're just going to end up folding turn. So we're just going to kind of get out of the way against the nits and not worry too much about it. We just kind of break off here in 10. Yeah, king jack fold. Still no more than 100 tables up there. I do need to sit out here though, because right now we're kind of down swinging off of the 150. Wow, oh, that's gross. Just a big donk fest straight down. Fold the 8 deuce. All right, so up here is just a limped pot. We're just gonna check call flop. Ace king raise. So he thought a little bit. I think I'm just gonna go bet. Jack 5 we're fold. We're just sitting out. We're gonna take a breather. Okay, 3-4 jack at a position. We just check call the ace king depending on his sizing. Okay, he checks back. We just go small on turn. Fold the 5-3. Okay, we take that down. And then basically we're gonna bet, you know, small in turn, then like 3/4 pot or pot river. Could actually be better to go a bit bigger in certain spots, like where we just play our exact hand value. You know what I mean? There's like you know, we have the ace, so let's just go bigger, because if he has a jack or an ace, he's calling. It's kind of what the logic would be behind it. So might as well put some more money in those spots. Like, balance isn't necessarily a thing that you have to worry about against like fish and stuff. And in reality, you know, NL50, NL100, NL200, like, nobody's paying enough attention to figure out that, oh, he's going, you know, 3/4 pot here when he has it. He's going, you know, 2/3 pot when he's bluffing. That's not ever going to happen at these stakes, especially on GG, because everybody's like such a rake back, you know, grinding site because of how expensive the rake is. So you just get like everybody's playing like 8 tables when they're open, you know. You know, it's funny. Every time I go to sit out, like, amount of people watching jumps like 3 or 4, you know, 3 or 4 bumps. All right, full jack 9. Okay, we're gonna be sitting out that hand. We're sitting out this hand. We will be back, or at least we plan to be back. So far today, 1,300 hands. We are losing with rake because we're only at 58. That doesn't really mean much. We were down, yeah, down 80, down 60, up 150, and now we're up. Now we're 60 back. Okay, we just got 2 more hands to play up here, and then we'll take a quick break. And hopefully we can get some more NL100 tables up and running. Ronnie River. Is that the guy we were just playing at 1-2? No, I don't think it was. No, that was Rolna. Rolna River. Who's this guy? Amato. Wonder how much of that's just like a heads up round. Games look pretty good though. Massive fit, like only got $100 stack. It's still big fish at all 2.5. Other fish, at least 2 fish at all 2.5. Alright, we're sitting at. Okay, we will be taking a break, and then we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we're back. 6-7 off call, so first of the time. It's not a bluff. Not as popular bluff. Very often. Turns today. Super set. I might try to play Mega tonight. Try to win a spot for the main event there. Jack 7 suits call for 3x button, sure. We'll just be check shoving, I think, with the flush draw. Yeah, I think we're just gonna check shove or check raise and then call the shove. If he has an ace, you know, money's going in, whatever. If he doesn't have an ace, he's just gonna fold. The king 9. So just open limping a ton. Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna ISO and c-bet. It's just gonna be super profitable. And with the 9, we're just gonna get bigger. He has 6x, he's calling. He might call over cards. These jacks suited, Love Maria calls. We're gonna squeeze here. Hey, Derek quickly calls. That's not unexpected. Like if he's betting there, I expect him to have a nutted hand a lot. So we're actually gonna go check into the check calling mode. Yeah, he checks back. So now we're just gonna value bet. And value bet river. What happened here? We just call in the small blind. I guess we misread our position. With this board, we're gonna check. Check. Bet. He calls. So I guess we'll call this time. This is obviously, you can call, you can raise, there's a whole bunch of different options there. Check raising might be best, because then check raising you avoid like having to call like an 18 big blind bet here on the turn, right? But kind of just have to make that call. You have this much equity. And then you can get it in, like, I don't know, check raising on the flop is actually probably the better play. 1, get more fold equity. 2, you can get it in against like ace king diamonds. And 3, like you don't lose to jack 10 offsuit in this particular case, right? Yeah, I just think it's probably better to check raise. Like the aggressive lines are just going to be better. I think we got to start do a little bit of studying and tip back more into the aggressive side of things. EV is going to be close here because like we're just going to bink enough. Like we're going to hit 3, we hit a queen, you know, we hit a diamond. You know, we bet small on the turn. The turn checks around. Like all that stuff plays into the EV to make it all, you know, pretty close to like getting it in. And then first getting it in on if we hit. That's a huge bet though from him on the turn with jack 10 off. So I guess maybe that's a good read. I'm not really sure, but he's definitely like kind of a spewy player. I think he overvalues hands, I guess would be the way to put it a little bit. Too silly. Okay. Fold here. We do 3-bet here. Okay. We're gonna see if the stream is still running in a couple minutes. Obviously we call here. Probably has like ace 7. Ace 3, at least we're ahead still. Fold 10, 6. Hold on. Okay. Check here. Sure, we can run it 3 times, whatever we want. Okay. Fold here. So our recording stopped because I think we ran out of space. I think the stream is still running though. Fold the 9-6. Guess we bet the ace-5. Fold here, fold here. Yeah, okay. There. That opened up some space. So hopefully the stream doesn't drop off. I think the recording just stopped because we were running out of space. So I think the stream is still going to be... I think the stream should still be running. It doesn't say end stream, so... which is fine. I might actually, probably should turn that off soon on my computer. So I don't need to record every stream. Okay, we definitely have the ISO raise here with King 10 suited. Deuces raise, Queen 8 suited raise. Ace Jack suited, we squeeze, fold the 8-5. Again, let's get back over here, see if there's some more tables. There are not. We can start an NL50 table up as well. Okay, the Queen 8 will check back. The Ace Jack suited against this guy, who plays pretty tight. So I think GTO, you're going to bet bigger on this board. Okay, he just like snap calls. So the snap call generally is not all that strong. I think we check here. And the issue here is that he's like, I just don't think I can get him to fold an overpair. Like when he shows up with tens. That sucks though. That sucks. Feel like that's kind of been a big failing lately too, is checking too much. Like I think we need to get back to like I don't want to overthink it. Like, it's been one day. We're on one day down to it. Like we're not, you know what I mean? But I think there's a lot of spots where we stop bluffing and then they have ace high, you know? So I think we need to look into that and double check some of that stuff. Second pair, we just check here with 10. He checks again. So once he double checks, I don't think he has the ace. So we're just going to look to get him to bluff river and we can call off. Well, that's interesting. That's just a fold. The world that he's bluffing 2x pot on that river is probably non-existent, realistically. Fold 9-5. What's this guy opening? He's not opening nearly enough on the small blind to justify 3-betting those hands. Alright, so we submit the ace-10 off here. Okay, folds. Fold the jack-6. Okay, get some kings. See if we can get some action here. Fold the 8-4. Fold queen 4. Raise up the kings. Just fold the ace-5 in the small blind. 5-4 suited. Again, This guy he seems to be a little bit more aggressive than I remember, but we're trying to play hands with Derek, so we're going to be taking some spots that aren't necessarily, um, plus EV, from the outside. And we'll float bottom pair. Check raise this sometimes. Oh, he calls. Yeah, I guess we're in the middle there, eh? We should probably just fold that. And we just check down. Oh, do we just get no action here? Yeah, queens, king 6, wow. Okay. It's a bit stationary post flop. And we run into it somehow with this guy again. King 10 of hearts versus ace queen of hearts. And we get there. We're still drawing dead. Good lord, man. We lose with jacks to queen 3, called pre-flop versus raise. Well, I think I'm getting a little, just getting tilted, so I think we're going to take a break here. What do you even have here? So, raise, 3-bet, call, that's all fine. Jack shove, that's fine. All that's good. Not much we can do there, just a cooler here. He just calls in the small blind with queen 3 offsuit, and given stack sizes, the money obviously goes in. That's kind of that. So I think we're probably down 100 or so now. And we're even, whatever. It's just kind of one of those days. Shadow Striker, 8s are just a 3-bet, or just a fold, sorry. That. I swear this guy's, is he just copying? So there's not another Shadow Striker. Yeah, there is. Is that our Shadow Striker 1? This is Shadow Striker. I don't know.